The NT55 is a small diaphragm condenser. The NT55 has a 3-step pad and 3-step high-pass filter. This works really well for us on drums because let's say we have a very loud snare drum. Simply bringing 5 decibels off is not enough sometimes, so we can reduce it by -10 dB or a huge -20 dB. This gives us a lot of control when writing the volume to the recorder. Sometimes I really like to run a hot snare to the recorder. This is part of my creative recording and mixing approach. Other times I'll want to be very conservative. In that case, I'll enable the pad to make sure I get a healthy headroom when recording. Here we have the NT55 on snare drum. Because of the NT55's onboard controls, we can actually have a listen to it in its different states. We can now hear the 75 Hz high-pass filter applied. As you can tell, we lose a bit of that low-end body. This is okay when we've got a deep bass guitar in our mix, as it helps the snare stand out more in the mid and high section. We can even remove more low-end, 150 Hz. This means that the kick drum and the bass guitar in our mix blend really well together without any interference from the snare drum in these frequencies. Because of its onboard controls and versatility, the NT55 also comes out a lot for hi-hat. Its cardioid polar pattern means that I can zoom into the hi-hat and not get too much of the rest of the other instruments. At the same time, I've got the high-pass filter to remove the low-end rumble from the kick and even some of the lows from the snares. By putting the high-pass filter to 75 Hz or even 150 Hz, I get rid of some of that low end. This means that my hi-hat channel is actually my hi-hat channel and not a lot of excess rumble. The NT55 tends to make an appearance on a lot of ride cymbals. Its small profile means that I can get in there and place it directly above the ride cymbal, facing down at the bell. This is very good for making the ride cymbal stand out, not only in the mix, but also in its drum submix. If I want more of a room sound for the whole drum kit, no matter where the NT55 is placed, I can simply swap over the capsule. By using the NT45O capsule, it gives me an omnipolar pattern. This is really good for recording situations as it allows me to get creative with my microphone technique. Here we have the NT55 on ride. As you can tell, we get a very direct sound. We can also hear the NT55 signal with a pad on it. This means that we don't get as much amplitude coming into the desk, but gives us more headroom at our recorder. We can use either one of these signals in the mix to make sure that the ride stands out. As spoken about, the right angle means that we get a lot of the direct ride sound. Combine that with setting the pad up, we've got a lot of headroom to drive the signal louder in the mix if we need it. Let's hear the NT55 in the mix.
Nothing says freedom, baby, like a child without its face. And an Afghan woman with her firstborn who's never seen